Nigerians are facing harsh swap. Federal government considers Kano digital security measures for rail tracks protection. Another foreign scene, mosque blast kills at least 18 in Afghanistan. Good evening, you're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Zahra Zanna. Today is the 2nd of September, 2022. And now the news in full. The federal government has provided an insight into the alleged hostile treatment of Nigerians in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. In recent weeks, social media have been flooded with reports of inhumane treatments meted out to Nigerians in the country. Commenting on the issue, Chairman Nigeria Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erwa, stated that the UAE authorities recently released new guidelines for visa applications for people under the age of 40. She said many Nigerians now try to circumvent these guidelines by applying for family visas instead of providing clarity on the kind of visa they are asking for. She disclosed a 6 months genuine bank statement, accommodation details, as well as a return ticket must be produced on arrival. The UAE authorities have tightened visa rules for Nigerians in the aftermath of an unrest by some Nigerians in the country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also issued a statement advising Nigerians to respect the new visa rules of the UAE government. In a call that can at once significantly advance the course of global net zero emissions targets, facilitate energy access, and the development of African countries, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is proposing a debt for climate swap deal, DFC. Explaining the DFC concept during a lecture on a just and equitable energy transition for Africa at the Center for Global Development in Washington, D.C., Osinbajo stated that debt for climate swaps is a type of debt swap where bilateral and multilateral debt is forgiven by creditors in exchange for a commitment by the debtor to use the outstanding debt service payments for national climate action programs. Justifying the rationale behind such a debt swap deal, the vice president submitted that the commitment to it would increase the fiscal space for climate-related investments and reduce the debt burden for participating developing countries. He added that to make this efficient, there are, of course, significant policy actions necessary to make this acceptable and sustainable. The vice president also proposed the greater participation of African countries in the global carbon market while exploring financing options for energy transition. The Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions has said there is the need for an increase in tertiary education tax from 2.5 to 3% to improve research and development in the country. The committee made this submission during an oversight visit to Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, to ascertain the level of 2021-2022 performance of the project. The committee, chaired by Senator Ahmed Baketa, pointed out that education and health sectors were two critical sectors that drive development, hence the need for an upward review of the education tax. It urged the agency to incorporate the National Mathematical Center, NMC, in its interventions, saying no country could thrive in the area of research, science, technology, and innovation without embracing mathematics. And on sports, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has said the federal government will grant the Nigerian Golf Federation some of the funds due to enable it to support the game of golf in the country. He gave this assurance in his address to the captains of 70 golf clubs and other stakeholders from across the country at the first Nigerian Golf Federation Summit in Abuja. Muhammad Saniwa has details of this and other sports updates.
The Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, admitted that the Nigeria Golf Federation (NGF) had not been receiving the financial support it deserved from the federal government and assured that will change soon. Dare also urged the NGF board, led by Otumba Olusegun Ronsewe, to restore the Nigeria Golf Open Championship last held in 1999. He also assured that the 16-year-old Nigerian sensation, Iyane Obong Asian, who finished second at the recent Champion of Champions World Golf Championship Invitational in Northern Ireland, and other talented athletes, will be entered into the talent hunt programs of the Ministry for support. The minister said ASEAN will be part of the Nigerian contingent to the Commonwealth Games that will meet President Muhammadu Buhari on September 15. In another update, head coach of Super Eagles B. Salisu Yusuf has expressed optimism that his team will qualify for the African Nation Championship CHAN to be hosted by Algeria in 2023. The home-based Eagles lost 2-0 to Ghana in Cape Coast last week and will have to overturn the result in the return leg against Ghanaians slated for tomorrow at the Moshid Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, if they are to qualify for CHAN. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, announced the removal of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations host right from Guinea after the executive committee approved the decision. CAF noted that Guinea will not be ready to handle hosting the tournament by the time frame slated for the tournament, which is expected to fall in the summer of 2025. Similarly, the World Health Organization, WHO, in partnership with the Ministry of Public Health in Qatar, has announced that smoking and marketing of all tobacco products will be banned across stadiums that will be used during the global sporting events. WHO, in a statement published on its site last night, said the steps are part of the measures aimed at ensuring the 2022 global football gathering serves as a beacon for health and safety. The Qatari Minister of Public Health, Hanan Al-Kuwari, said the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2020 is a unique platform to promote health across the world and to communicate that sport and health go together. And on tennis, Serena and Venus Williams' double return proved short-lived as they fell into a first-round defeat at the US Open, teaming up for the first time since 2018 and probably the last time. They lost 7-6, 7-5, 6-4 to take Lucia Redeka and Linda Noskova. Muhammad Sani Uba, Freedom Radio.
Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. Federal government says it is considering adopting Kano digital security measure to protect rail lines. The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, disclosed this while addressing reporters at the presidential villa in Abuja. Muazu Sambo, who was speaking on security measures being put in place to ensure safety of train passengers, stressed that it will be insensitive for the government to restart the train service, while many Nigerians were still traumatized over their loved ones, who are still being held captives by terrorists from an attack that occurred on the train service. He said the digital security at Falgore Forest in Kano is being evaluated among other security measures by the federal government to protect the rail tracks. It was gathered that the Kano digital security measures at the Falgore Forest has formed part of the nucleus of ensuring safety, which guarantees security in the state compared to other non-Western states. On 2nd September 1985, Nigeria's new president swore in new 19 military governors, urging them to win the confidence of the 89 million people in Africa's most populous nation. Rosafina Shinkut has more on this.
President Ibrahim Babangida, who took power in a bloodless coup August 27, said his government will work to revive country's debt-ridden economy and move towards efficient management of resources. Babangida urged the governors assigned to each of the nation's 19 states to work towards restoring the people's confidence in military leadership and also called for more discipline among workers. Earlier that same day, Babangida met with civil servants and told them he expected them to give professional advice to his government. Nigeria has witnessed 6 military coups since independence from Britain in 1960. Babangida topped General Muhammadu Buhari from power, charging he had failed to address the country's massive social and economical problems caused in part by sliding international oil prices. He said the country faced serious problems with prices of food and essential commodities skyrocketing, and millions of Nigerians cannot afford decent meals. Cooking oil, sugar, baby food, milk, and detergents are in short supply. Shinkut Rosfina, Freedom Radio.
For tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here's the report.
Kano tomorrow morning is expected to have thundery showers and gentle breeze at 22 degrees Celsius. A later change sunny interval and gentle breeze at 24 degrees Celsius. Kaduna will experience similar weather condition at an average temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. A later increase to 22 degrees Celsius. Katsina will have light rain showers and light wind at 23 degrees Celsius. A later give way to sunny and gentle breeze at 25 degrees Celsius. Abuja will experience thundery showers and light wind at 22 degrees Celsius. A later change light cloud and light wind at 24 degrees Celsius. Lagos will experience partly cloudy sky and light wind at an average temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. A later give way to sunny interval and light wind at 25 degrees Celsius. Maradi and Zindar in Niger Republic will experience partly cloudy sky and light wind at an average temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. A later give way to light cloud and gentle breeze at 27 degrees Celsius. Umulkar Abakar Ungogo, Freedom Radio.
On business, Abdurrahman Hamis in Medina has updates.
The federal government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, has paid $3.8 billion cash call arrears in joint ventures to international oil companies. Figures seen in Abuja showed that the $3.8 billion repayment was done as at May 31st, 2022, leaving an outstanding balance of $873.34 million. The total negotiated debt between the government and the 5 IOCs was put at $4.68 billion. Cash calls are sent by joint venture operators to non-operating partners for payment in the light of anticipated future capital, operating expenditures, or the need for additional capital contributions. Meanwhile, the World Bank Group President David Malpass has said that the bank is ready to support Nigeria in phasing out regressive fuel subsidies while increasing social assistance for the poor and vulnerable. He also stressed the need for a unified exchange rate in Nigeria, which would significantly improve the business-enabling environment in Nigeria, attract foreign direct investment, and reduce inflation. According to a statement published on the bank's website, Malpass said this when he met with Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Abdurrahman Hamis Namadina, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, an explosion at a mosque in the city of Herat in western Afghanistan killed a high-profile pro-Taliban scholar, as well as more than a dozen civilians. Amina Mukhtar Yakasey reports.
Images today showed what appeared to be blood-stained bodies scattered around the mosque compound. Taliban official Abdul Nafi Thakur confirmed on today's explosion and said they were dead and wounded, but said he had no further details. Mujib Rahman Ansari had spoken strongly in defense of the Taliban at a large-scale gathering of thousands of scholars and elders organized by the group in late June, condemning anyone who stood against its administration. Meanwhile, a United Nations helicopter has crashed while flying over the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's North Kivu province. The World Food Programme WFP said the UN Humanitarian Air Service chopper, managed by the WFP, went down near the city of Goma this morning. There were no passengers on board and 3 crew members were injured, the aid agency told Reuters news agency in an emailed response. Amina Mukhtar Yakasey, Freedom Radio.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's global news. But before we leave, highlights of our top stories. The federal government has provided an insight into the alleged hostile treatment of Nigerians in the United Arab Emirates. In a call that can at once significantly advance the course of global net zero emissions targets, facilitate energy access, and the development of African countries, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo is proposing a debt for climate swap deal. Federal government says it is considering adopting Kano digital security measure to protect rail lines. And on the foreign scene, an explosion at a mosque in the city of Herat in western Afghanistan killed a high-profile pro-Taliban scholar as well as more than a dozen civilians. On behalf of the entire production team and I, Zahra Zanna, have a great weekend.